Welcome everyone to Raíces y Resistencia, an afternoon of LGBTQ plus Latinx poetry. My name is Greg Newton. I'm the co-founder, along with my lovely partner, Donnie Jokum, of the Bureau of General Services Queer Division. The Bureau, for anyone who may not know, although I think most of you do, is an all-volunteer independent queer bookstore that we founded in 2012 and that has been here at the LGBT Community Center since 2014. And we have regular bookstore hours Wednesdays through Sundays from 1 to 7, and then we often stay open later, especially on weeknights for events. So we have a very busy event calendar. I hope you'll check that out on our website, bgsqd.com, where you can also sign up for our bi-weekly newsletter. You can also do that at the back of the room, but you can also do it on the website, bgsqd.com. And as an all-volunteer queer bookstore, we are dependent on both sales and donations to keep this machinery going. And now, as of July, we are paying rent here at the center, which is an unhappy development, to say the least. So we're really encouraging people to become monthly donors, if you're able to, for any amount. It can be $5, $10, whatever. And I'm gonna pass a bag for cash donations or Venmo donations. But if you could do that, we would appreciate it. You can scan it and fill out the form later, or you can go to the website and click on donate where you can see. And those donations are tax deductible. If you make cash and Venmo donations today, I'm afraid those are not tax deductible. But I will pass this around. It has a QR code for the signing up for donations, but it also has one for Venmo, and it has good old cold cash. I'll get those words out. So before I bring up Gerard Cabrera from the Publishing Triangle, who is presenting today's event, I wanted to give a land acknowledgement. The Bureau recognizes that we operate on the unceded land of the Munsee Lenape. We encourage you to join the Bureau in signing up to make a monthly donation to the American Indian Community Houses Mannahatta Fund. The Mannahatta Fund, according to its website, is an invitation to all settlers and non-native people who wish to acknowledge the legacy of theft and genocide that comprise the history of New York City and the United States. And you can find out more about that on their website, mannahattafund.org. The Bureau also recognizes Palestinian liberation as a fundamental part of our collective queer liberation. And we strongly encourage you to take one of our free zines on why we feel it is especially important for queer people to speak out in solidarity with Palestinians at this moment. So please take a zine on your way out, read it, share it, and spread the word. And now it is my pleasure to welcome Gerard Cabrera from the Publishing Triangle. Please give him a warm welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this afternoon's event. On behalf of the Publishing Triangle, the host, one of the hosts or sponsors of the event, welcome. And if you don't know anything about the Publishing Triangle, it's an organization that was founded in the late 1980s, around 1988, to support professionals in the publishing industry as well as writers. And every year we have a wonderful awards ceremony. This year I think it's in April. We give out cash prizes, and we see our mission as helping LGBTQ writers and people in the publishing industry. I've maybe personally made a pitch to you when you came in, but also on everyone's chair there's a little membership form with a QR code. If you have not become a member, please consider becoming a member. If your membership has lapsed, please consider renewing it. And we look forward to seeing you at many other events that we will be hosting here and in the center and at other venues. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our host for the afternoon, Emmanuel Xavier. Emmanuel Xavier is a poet, author, and activist who has championed Latinx and LGBTQ plus poets for decades. He is the author of several collections, including Peer Queen, If Jesus Were Gay, Lovely Child, and the forthcoming Still We Are Sacred. Recognized as an LGBTQ plus icon by the Equality Forum, his work has been honored by the Lambda Literary Awards, the International Latino Book Awards, and the American Library Association's Over the Rainbow Books list. He also serves, alongside me and others, on the board of the Publishing Triangle. Tonight he is our host and our first reader, and I would just close by letting everyone know that our fellow board member Francisco Gutierrez, who is supposed to be doing what I'm doing, can't be with us this afternoon, but we're sending him and his partner lots of love and healing vibes. Without further ado, Emmanuel Xavier.
Hello, hello, hello. ¿Cómo está mi gente? Happy Latinx Heritage Month. Thank you, Gerard, and thank you for joining us. It's an honor to host Raíces y Resistencia here at the Bureau with the Publishing Triangle. This gathering is a celebration of our stories, our resilience, and the power of poetry to bring people together. With that spirit in mind, let's begin. So, I'd like to start with 4 poems that trace a bit of my journey as a queer Latinx poet in New York, from my latest collection to an anthem from 2002 to a piece from the 90s, and finally a new poem from my forthcoming collection. So I'm going to kick it off with Latinx is something between Latino and Latina, reclaiming how we are defined hombres sitting in front of lit mirrors with a table full of cosmetics, and mujeres with skin fades and ace bandaged down breasts. Something like drag queens a la escuelita and butches like café con leche, like your cool tío that teaches you how to death drop and titi with a mustache. Something like your primo that mysteriously disappeared from the family and is never spoken about. Somewhere between when did you come into this country and brown babies in hospital delivery rooms, growing up in a country where we are told to go back to wherever we came from. Somewhere between being oppressed by whitewashed politicians that come from families that look like us and our bodies outlined with white chalk on sidewalks when we are killed, checked boxes without nuance. Something between J-Lo and Jenny from the Block, Rita Hayworth and Rita Moreno, migrating across rivers and spending all your money on airfare. Something between Vaporub and Brujeria, appreciating art by Goya and Trump-loving Goya products from Spain. Taco Tuesdays and the waitstaff and cooks at Italian restaurants. Children in cages and kids bused to school where they are called spics. Teens turning to gangs for brotherhood, sisterhood, and in the hood, maricones getting gay bashed. Alcoholism and Corona, tequila, margaritas, mezcal, somewhere between a quinceañera and a sweet 16, celebrating Cinco de Mayo and clutching your purse as brown boys walk by. Fetishizing Latin lovers and sex trafficking girls who speak Spanish, getting displaced by gentrification, and they're taking over our neighborhoods. Somewhere between desirable and undesirable, being unwanted no matter what letter closes us out, an O, an A, an X, an E. Somewhere between Vanna White and wanna buy a vowel. Somewhere between your English is so good and speaking Spanglish. Somewhere between the right to live the American dream and being a welfare queen. Somewhere between gracias to the academy and filling up our prisons. Somewhere between el pueblo unido jamás será vencido. And we're here, we're queer, get used to it. Somewhere between Dia de los Muertos and painting your face white to symbolize death. Somewhere between you have the right to remain silent and silence equals death. Somewhere between telenovelas and the new One Day at a Time. Somewhere between Richie Valens and Cardi B. Gender fluid like Huerta Mercado and Demi Lovato. Somewhere between Lady Bunny's favorite snacks and Bad Bunny. Something like we were here on this land first and X marks the damn spot. This next poem was written in 2002, and it's still relevant because of everything that's going on in our country. It's called Americano. I look at myself in the mirror trying to figure out what makes me an American. I see Ecuador and Puerto Rico. I see brujo spirits moving across the backs of santeros, splattered with the red blood of sacrificed chickens on their virgin white clothes, and blue beads for Yemaya, practicing religions without a roof. I see my own blood running in the white sheets of a stranger, proud American blue G labels on the side of the bed. I see Don Rosario and his guayabera sitting outside the bodega with his Puerto Rican flag, reading time in the eyes of alley cats. I see my mother trying to be more like Marilyn Monroe than Julia de Burgos. I see myself trying to be more like James Dean than Federico Garcia Lorca. I see Carlos Santana, Gloria Estefan, Ricky Martin, and Jennifer Lopez more than just sporadic Latin explosions, more like fireworks on El 4 de Julio, as American as Bruce Springsteen, Janis Joplin, Elvis Presley, and Aretha Franklin. I see Taco Bells and chicken fajitas at McDonald's. I see red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. I see Cheetah Rivera on Broadway. You see, I am as American as lemon merengue pie, as American as Wonder Woman's panties, as American as Madonna's bra, as American as the Quinceañeros, the Abduls, the Lees, the Jacksons, the Kennedys, mostly all of us immigrants to the soil, says none sound American Indian to me. As American as television snow after the anthem is played, and I am not ashamed. Jose, can you see? I pledge allegiance to this country, 'tis of me, land of dreams and opportunity, land of proud detergent names and commercialism, land of corporations. If I can win gold medals at the Olympics, if I can sign my life away to die for the United States, ain't no small town hate gonna tell me I'm an American. Because I can speak in 2 languages, coño, carajo, y fuck you. This is my country too, where those who not believe in freedom and diversity are the ones who need to get the hell out. And now I'm going to take you way back to the 90s when I first did this poem. Nueva York. While Mexicans shine the sole of the white men's shoes, Ricans and Dominicans drive around with black-faced virgins and saints on their dashboards, blasting rap and freestyle down the streets where mountain campesinos fall in love with South American cholas, getting cruised by the homeless men, loose change jingling in their pockets, and all the Latinos freezing their nalgas off, screaming, "Me cago en Dios!" while reminiscing about homelands where tropical trees and twilights warm their souls and the sun brings out natural skin tones. Papito vendiendo coquitos mientras brown-skinned project mothers cross themselves every morning before heading off to the factories or going out to do the compras so that the children won't have to eat pan con welfare cheese again. 16-year-old Angie popping her gum, hands on her cintura screaming, "Yo, Miriam! Throw down the baby!" But I don't want to go up the stairs. I'm too tired. Just throw the baby out the window. I'll catch it, I swear. A gringo's watching curiously, lost in the translation, unable to understand the slang bodega terms, the Nuyorican words that give the spice of life, el ritmo y el sabor to la isla del encanto, la isla de Nueva York. And this is a new poem from my forthcoming collection, which comes out in April from Rebel Satari Press, called Still We Are Sacred. This poem is called, El Grito de Poetas, and the namesake came as an inspiration from a poetry troupe where we just lost one of the members called Chilo. And so I dedicate it to him and his family. El Grito de Poetas. They do not want our work to be so political, as if our bodies ain't been ballots and battlegrounds since birth, as if nuestros nombres weren't already a protest painted in pink across brick walls they pretend not to see. They do not want us to speak our truth, want our tongues tucked in like a shirt at Sunday service, whitewashed and folded clean. They want our stories dressed in drag, but never undressed to the wound. They want us to shut the fuck up, but our silence is not their souvenir. Es un grito held hostage by survival. We've kissed fists, danced with demonios, called home a bench beneath the stars, and still found glitter in the gutter. We do not write for the comfort of cobardes. We write for the kid with eyeliner smudged like war paint, walking past lockers lined with slurs. We write for the mommy who lost her son to a flag, not a bullet, but a flag. They want us muted, but we're too loud to be forgotten, too Latin to be erased, too queer to be compliant, and too fucking alive to ever shut up.
Thank you.
So our next poet is Josely Castillo Fuertes, a bilingual Afro-Dominican lesbian poet, educator, activist, and mom, a Cave Canem alum. Her work has appeared in anthologies across New York, Buenos Aires, Madrid, and Santo Domingo. She is the author of De Eso Sí Se Habla, Of That I Speak, and co-editor of the anthology Pájaros, Lesbianas y Queer, A Volar. Please join me in welcoming Josely Castillo.
Gracias, Emmanuel. Thank you. Thank you, the viewer, and thank you, the Publishing Triangle, for putting this together. And thank you, everyone, all of you for coming. And yes, happy Latinx Heritage Month, and que viva la Resistencia, no? So when I was invited, I'm like, okay, Resistencia. Been fighting all the time. But I'm gonna take you through a few of the things that I do to resist and to fight back. So I'm going to start with my latest kind of fight, which is this book, and singing a poem that I wrote inspired by the national anthem, Dominican national anthem, and that got me in trouble that I cannot go back to the DR actually right now until I resolve legal issues. I had to leave in the middle of the night. But I'm going to start with that, and then I'm going to read a poem based on that, and then all the ways that I have been resistant for the last, 40-something years. Himno Nacional Lésbico Dominicano. Quisqueyanas, lesbianas, alcemos nuestros gritos con furia y tesón. Que se oigan en toda la isla las injusticias y la discriminación. Compatriotas, mostremos la cara que fingimos ser libre y demás. Si nuestros hijos, la tierra y el agua de los gringos y europeos son ya. Que santuario de amor cada pecho, con mi puro y gay corazón. De dominicana yo tengo el derecho y no acepto terapia o perdón. Y si pudo un Duarte soltero por su patria morir y luchar, junto a Sánchez un valiente negro, que legado de hombría e igualdad. Libertad, palabra en la isla cargada de dinero, posición y color. Ya es hora que al ciudadano le signifique derechos de amor. Libertad es el respeto al humano, sea niño, niña o los dos. Que el sexo o un género asignado no define lo que es el amor. Libertad seguiré proclamando en mi tierra de Cristo y Changó, hasta que como pájaros libres volando de la ley recibamos protección. Libertad, que las lesbianas se agiten a luchar por nuestra patria igualdad. Si los trinitarios desde arriba nos dictan libertad, libertad, libertad. So that poem caused that I went viral, and this is the name of this poem, Viral. It happened just like that. Have you seen milk boil? Oh, let me start it. I read the whole thing. Live. Okay, it's the first time I read it. So, Byron, have you seen milk boiling over on a stove? It happened just like that. My 7 minutes of fame became realidad. Hard times fizzing over Instagram deadly judgments, comments girling over Dominican 6 o'clock news, podcasts, video blogs, radio shows, newspapers, and even the East Coast Primer Impacto. Not accustomed to too much social media interactions, I just froze. I watched it rapidly bubble every day with higher flames until I almost suffocated. As I turned my face away from the stove, I realized I just have to turn it off. Not let the heat burn my milk away. I will turn it back on though. Let it boil on low flame. Thank you. And also a new poem that I wrote kind of back in March, in the beginning of this administration's. Yeah. So it's called What Evil Looks Like. DJT. I'll tell you how. It's simple, really, as De Niro highlights. No moral, ethics, or human codes to live or rule by. Only his own interests and basic drives. You see, like Trujillo in the DR, he will make a straight macho man he detests suck his dick to get hard, to then, in front of him, rape his wife. That's it. I'm a lesbian, and the violence, women, and all types of women. So it's one of the things that I always fight back and make aware. So I wrote this. It's called 1 in a Billion Men, and I Googled, the population. The human population is 8.2 billion people on Earth. So figure about half, are male or men, so it's kind of in that sense, of the violence. And but anyway, it's called 1 Billion Men. There was one woman, then 2, then 10, then thousands of tens that fought back, even though they were afraid. They told someone. And we got one for the billions that keep getting away. One movie producer, H. Weinstein. One lawyer, R. Hemphill. One policeman, J.M. Crassley. One doctor, D. Todd. One teacher, J. Cuevas. One priest, A. Odion. One actor, B. Cosby. One husband, Jaquan. One father, Juan. One brother, Hong. One man, John Doe. And one by one, we must speak up to one by one get them all. So the fighting happens mainly in other ways, and it's for me obviously writing, but also through love and things that we do. And there is I'm working on a chapbook, I guess, but it's a collection of some poems that I call Amoverse, and it's the first one is a seat. Can someone offer me a seat? I'm not feeling well. Oh, thank you, Mom. But I'm actually this is not a real sickness. It's actually a poetic illness. It's small words that become big actions that then become real opportunities for a better world. That's my kind of performance. I'm not a good performer, but thank you, ma'am, for your seat. The next poem also, it's Amo verse 1, and it's on the number 4 train. I live in the Bronx, 167th Street, my stop. She looks like my mother, a 70-year-old Latina grandmother. She looks good, active, healthy, strong. She's going up the stairs with a cart. The one like my father and most women drag at the pantry food line. It seems heavy. She drags it up and it makes a big noise. She is 5 or 6 steps in front of me. All of a sudden, a black man speeds up between us, grabs the lower end, and helps her up. She says, "Thank you." He nods and smiles, "No problem." I smile. I smile for the reminder. He goes towards the back of the platform. We go towards the front. Hay gente buena en el tren. There are good people on this train. I smile again, and we connect. She tells me her rice story. She is on her way to Staten Island to bring her 82-year-old sister-in-law some Dominican root vegetables she cannot get in that state island. I know how much batata, yuca, ñame, yautía blanca, yautía amarilla, yautía coco weight. And I remember my mom and dad who make the food line with 100 or 30 degrees outside and then give us some cans, or my aunt, or some friends and neighbors in the DR after they pay for the shipping of a tank or a box. The lady and I talk the whole ride to 86th Street, my stop. I tell her I believe in doing good. My mother taught me how everything comes back, and she will get it back, but she very well knows that. I feel how this has been her whole way of life. She gave thanks to God for her strength and for the black man who helped her with her card. Thank you. I was supposed to read another one before all my good poems. It's from the other book, another bilingual book of poetry. And one of the things that I do also to resist, I'm a teacher, and teaching pride in the culture, and I do it through language. I'm a Spanish teacher, and language, and culture. So this one is called Mi Nombre y Yo, My Name and I. Qué bonito mi nombre. I have forgotten until today, when I saw it again, the way my abuelita used to write it, en sus cartas para mí. It's really pretty, I must say, the way it sounded when she said it, stressing the vowel in the R. It was like she was singing my name every time she called me. Thank you for writing it that way, perdón, señorita. Gracias por escribirlo así. Even my mom has forgotten. She calls me Mary, like Merry Christmas. Mary is not my name. Mi nombre es María, con acento en la I. María Altagracia, to be more specific. It's not Mary or Mariah. Es María. I need you to stress the I for me. Put the accent in, please. It has been even harder for me. I've had to recognize more than an I to realize what my name says about me. Thank you. How much? I'm not keeping time. How much? So I have a turtle. My daughter and I have a turtle in the house. And there are 2 versions of this very short poem. And this is not the PG version. This is not the adult version. It's called Species Reptile. I have a turtle named Coco. Everyone asks me if she has a dick or a toto. I actually don't know, and for 8 years, it has not been of concern. She eats, walks, and swims just the same. And that's real, like, I don't know if it's male or female. But we call it she. It's women in the house. Okay, and the last one. So, oh no, I do have another daughter poem. And as you know now, I write a lot on my phone. And even though this is not new, this is from 2 years ago, I'm like, I need to do something about my daughter. So I wrote back this in 2023. It's called She Will Be Joy. I can see her from above. She will channel my spirit on the dance floor. She will bring back dancing like in the 90s. I can see her moving across the floor, arms out, head up, feet swirling, hips low. She will think of me dancing across the floor in our kitchen, her grandmother's hall, the park, and of course, the dance floor. Yes, we love to dance. And to finish, this is kind of, it's Ars Poetica. So it's the title, kind of, I guess the reason I write. There is a word in my poem that belongs to you, friend, mother. A concept I borrow from you, student, lover. A feeling we shared, stranger, brother. A philosophy of life you helped me give shape to, teacher, migrant worker. One that makes you me, and I the other. All in one word, all over this poem. By the book, it's an anthology of LGBT Dominican writers in the diaspora and also the island. Oh, and I would like to invite you to a one-woman show that, based on one of my short stories at the Bronx Academy of Arts and Dance. October 24th. Bad, yes. Look it up. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Lee. Now I want to go out and get a turtle.
I recommend the no
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Our next feature, Joshua Garcia, is the author of Pentimento from Black Lawrence Press, which came out in 2024, and it was a finalist for the Lambda Literary Award for Gay Poetry and also the Tom Gunn Award for Gay Poetry. His work has appeared in Ekontun, the Georgia Review, Passages North, Plowshares, and elsewhere. He holds an MFA from the College of Charleston and has received fellowships from Bucknell University and the Poetry Project. He lives and writes in Brooklyn, New York. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Joshua Garcia.
Hey everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you all for coming. I've been really moved by what's been read so far, and it's reminded me that it's a privilege to gather like this, so I'm just very happy to be here with you. I'll be reading some poems from my book Pentimento, and I'm gonna start with a couple of lyric essay sequences from an essay called Faggot. I'm just gonna start there. And it's a sequence of 6 responses to the clobber passages, which the church has historically used to condemn queer people. It includes photographs of myself that have been superimposed with the scripture, and then is followed by a lyric response. So I'm going to start with part 4, and I'll read the scripture text first. Who worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator? Men with men working that which is unseemly. 4. In a dream, your father calls to you in Spanish, mijo. Though you do not speak the language he inherited, you hear it as you might hear the sun breathing across your face in the summer, as you might hear, suddenly and with the ease of a familiar touch, the letters of your name traced out in the freckles on your skin. Sound fills the darkness as water fills a jar, as blood spills wherever it is poured, flesh rising to meet the chisel that gives it shape. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. Spoken by man or by God, who can tell over the shatter of your first cries frothing from the tide of unclean lips? It is said that we came to exist when language found a body. Let there be, let there be, let there be. You have not seen your father in 3 years, but perhaps you belong, for better, for worse, to those who carve your features with the language they've been given. My son. Perhaps you belong to whomever is willing to let your name cross their tongue. 6. That's the picture. The law is not made for a righteous man. There are words for men like you. Faggot, borrowed from Old English, a cross to bear, a stake at which to burn. You are tied to these words by a primordial flame. What then is born of the language, or of the tongue's snap against your skin? What aroma stirs from the cold, naked mark it leaves behind? 2 G's hooked together in a blanket of vowels. The law is not made for a righteous man. Then who is there to hear it? Homosexual, a new word from the ancient for same. You belong to each other. The smell of smoke without the fire, a shrub alive with the musk of men. The law is not made for a righteous man. Beveled steel takes to stone for this, striking word into flesh, carving out stem and bowl, spine and crossbar, ascender, descender, shaping eye, shoulder, and beak. The bowl, the spur, and the tail, a body self-anointed with the fragrance of the knowledge of its meaning. And before all that, are synekoites, the marriage of Greek for man and bed into a word which is still not fully understood, but which, when spoken, take up thy bed and walk, you recognize something and rise. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for being an audience that makes noise. It can be very unsettling with more reserved audiences.
Woo! We got it.
So there are a lot of ekphrastic poems in this collection, and if you're not familiar with that word, it just means poems about works of art. And so the next poem I will read is after a Richard Avedon photograph from 1969 of Andy Warhol's scarred torso after he was shot. He was pronounced dead and then subsequently revived. This is Self-Portrait as Andy Warhol as Saint Sebastian. I have died once. I have risen many times. They said my brother was shocked when he saw the shape of my body. I heard their gasps when the sun gleamed off the metal in my skin. At sunset, you write to me of cleaning your toilet bowl, of the hair and piss shed by people you loved so much, their expulsions are nearly your own. I clean up after myself, peel the elastic back, trace the scars left by arrowheads plucked out of me like thorns. Perfect target, my abdomen. Across from me on the B train, Manhattan bound, a boy puts his arm around a girl. They are not in danger. They do not know what it means to be cut to pieces, to find a way out of necessity to make themselves beautiful. Beside me, an old man murmurs about getting to the Radisson, says he has a meeting, but looks like he has nowhere to go. I want to unbutton my pants, lift my shirt, and show him the map I carry with me. The next time I die, wrap me in a cum-stained shroud, see what shapes you find in the mess of it, as you would in the clouds, or a Rorschach test, or a prayer. Thank you. I'm just going to read two more. This next one is called Epistle. It was written in a poetic conversation with a friend. Epistle, Memento Mori. I am sometimes asked whether I call myself Latino. I don't speak the language, but I carry the name, a marker which, for some, bends with the imagination. My dentist once called me Jose. At a dinner, Carmen told me it won't matter. Language, the malleability of perception, if they begin rounding us into cages, which, of course, they have. My name already set on a sugar skull somewhere, ready to be plucked from a market shelf and handed to me, for you, a memento mori, when I least expect it. Remember death, present infinitive, unbound by time, moving in both directions like heat from a candelabra, melting down its arms, rising with its flames. You said, without emptiness, we cannot be. And how holy this work is made out to be, the obliteration of self, the bodies of ascetics sounding like the bells of remote monasteries, a rumble heavenward, a tumble down from high places, down serrated mountains, spilling over hills and into valleys, plunging into ravines, licking every flower with a tongue that knocks the sweetness out of property, out of idea. Mark Strand wrote, "You wake and the candles are lit as if by themselves. When I'm cold in the night, I reach." So thank you again. Thank you, Publishing Triangle. Thank you to the Bureau for facilitating and hosting us. It's always special to be here for any reason, so thanks. This last poem is called Poem with Starbucks and Kissing and Trees. And boycott Starbucks. This was written before. Yeah. a poem with Starbucks and kissing and trees. My therapist asks me why I always return to lack, and it may or may not be related, but it's been on my mind, so I finally tell him I might have been assaulted by a doctor. I say might because I still don't understand what happened, and because it took me 8 years, 1 hour, and 10 minutes to build up to this, which is to say, we are over time. I tell my therapist thank you, and we schedule an appointment for next week. And as I wait for my order at Starbucks, I think of how shame was handed to me, like a decaf Americano, and how I accepted it like a warmed slice of coffee cake. Thank you, I say to the barista. Thank you, I say to the doctor, to the pastor, to my father. Or maybe I say, I'm sorry for being a door someone else forgot to shut. Yet, I say nothing when I pass a cute guy at a crosswalk, thankful as I am for choosing this outfit today, which makes me think maybe someday nothing will happen to me because I will be a happening. And on that day, I won't be afraid to kiss whichever guy I met online. I'll just do it because I want to, if I want to. And I won't be afraid of where it might lead or what he may want from me, because my body will be too busy peeling back the petals of his mouth. None of that he loves me not business. Only he kisses me, he kisses me, he kisses me. And suddenly, like a memory returned or returning from a memory, I lift my head in the breeze of a passing truck, and across the street, a line of trees holds to their last leaves like a red mist released from an exit wound. And I think maybe someday I will disrobe without counting all the rooms I have left open. I will not wonder what will grow in that absence or what flora will burst forth in some new color. Thank you all.
Give it up once again for Joshua Garcia. Not Jose, Joshua. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. And I'm really excited to introduce our next feature. I've known him for many, many years. They put together an event for me and Cecilia Gentili. That was amazing. So next we have Viento Izquierdo Fugaz. Give it up. A transdisciplinary artist, cultural organizer, poet, and language justice worker. Through writing, photography, and moving image, they explore how migration weaves itself into personal and collective histories. Viento is a co-organizer of Body Hack in New York, Mutual Aid Happy Hour for Trans and Non-Binary People, and Transmission, the city's first trans music festival. They're also a former Poetry Project Curatorial Fellow and Leslie Lohman Museum Emerged New York City Fellow, and the author of the chapbook Estoy Tristeza. I'm especially happy to welcome them back to New York from Peru. Viento has always been such a great supporter, and I'm honored to support theirs tonight. Please join me in welcoming Viento Izquierdo.
Hi everyone. Oh, I'm short. And proud. Hi everyone, my name is Viento. I'm really excited to be here. I also wanted to share, I was 19 years old working in a thrift store in Boston, and I found Americano, Emmanuel Xavier's book. It rocked my world at the time, and 5 years later I moved to New York and I just wrote to Emmanuel and I was like, hey, I want to meet you. So that's how we've known each other, and I'm just really grateful to be continuing just working together and being in space and creation. So and thank you to all the poets who have read so far. What a wonderful afternoon, and I'm gonna share some poems. I'm also short-sighted. Okay. On seeing a shooting star for the first time at 31 years old. On the morning of my birthday, I pull a 10 of swords, a recounting of what has come before. The 90s were hell. I'm as old as Fujimori's coup. I'm as old as my mother's rape. I am a child of violence, believe it or not. I am the grandchild of violence. Your gaze can't see my story. Only I can tell it to you. But there are so many gaping holes in my memory, and maybe you'd fall. This poem, ICE, as an agency, I think was started in 2001. My family had been in the US for a year, and this poem takes place in 2002. It's called Mal de Ojo, or Evil Eye. Our first year in the United States. Mommy is up early as always, already with a broom in her hands. Univision News host already forgot about yesterday's tragedy. The four of us are up. We share the same room. Our neighbor grew out of her bed, and I'm a small 9-year-old. Our home is made of hand-me-downs, each from a different person. People moving up as we move in. The frames on the walls from the 99-cent store down the block, filled with pictures of all our friends' fake real weddings, fake real Christmases, fake real kisses, fake real love, in case there's a raid. In case there's a raid at any given moment. After dinner, we make Turkish mal de ojo bracelets. My stepdad invents a tool to string the glass beads together with all our sizes of fingers. They're sold at a fancy store in downtown Miami. Later, with my public school English, I read to my family from my Winnie the Pooh book. We learn new words like bear and friend. Any astrology people here? Do you know about Chiron? So Chiron is like this placement in our charts that kind of tells like what our karmic wound is. It's like the wound we're born with, basically. So this is called Chiron in the 4th house. I often ask myself what space I occupy. From where should I speak? And what if I have no voice and only weeping comes out? When I speak, they don't recognize me anymore. Sometimes I don't even recognize my voice. Yes, it is mutable, but those rough ha's no longer show. After so much English-speaking humiliation, I cannot hear my charapa aunts nor my Chotano roots in my own tongue. The only thing I know is that no one in my tree stayed where they were born. Maybe it was the state violence. Maybe it was the family violence, the desire to escape, the earthquakes, the floods. We were born to move, but displacement holds pain. It's a silent ache that is not much spoken of. But what no one can take away from me is my grandma's laughter. We have the same rumble. It's like an incantation that comes from the deepest part of our guts. the ones that contain the wounds of migration. When we are sitting on the cardboard sheets that Julio has been hoarding on the jagged cement wall in front of her house, she grabs my hands and laughs through her gold teeth. She dreams of dipping her toes in the grass and lying beside the river, but we are surrounded by sand, and it's winter, and it's cold. Thank you. So some of the poems I've been reading today are from a manuscript that I'm working on. And actually I made this little self-published booklet that has some poems that are gonna be in that manuscript. So if you wanna buy this today, it's here. And the book is gonna be called Camotito. In Peru, camote is sweet potato, so little sweet potato. And it refers to, you know the game Monkey in the Middle? Yeah, okay. In Peru, that game is called camotito. So the camotito is usually the person in the middle of that game. Yeah. So this poem is also from this little booklet I have here, and it's called Self-Portrait at 29. Oh, and I wrote this poem in 2021. Emmanuel mentioned that I just came back from living in Peru. I was living in Peru for the past 5.5 years, and I actually moved February of 2020, and literally a month later, I mean, we all know what happened. So I had come with this plan to like see all my family, and I didn't see them for like a year. So yeah, this is the poem. Self-Portrait at 29. My peace over everything. Sun filters through my window, waking me up, dreaming again of my father trying to reach me. Ocean's paw prints on the blanket. No is a motto. I had normalized abuse so much that I'm still surprised when I meet people who have never been in an abusive relationship and my body shows it too. My wrists have been hurting and the doctor says nothing is broken or fractured, but there's things that are unprocessed there that he doesn't know about, waiting to be released by me. Now I've gone months without being yelled at or made to feel like trash by someone I thought loved me, and I can't believe I can call that a feat. I don't allow it anymore. Maybe this poem is uncomfortable, but it's true, and I don't feel shame anymore. The older I get, the more like myself I feel. I still have so much love and joy to give and receive. I'm terrified and terrifying, intense and demanding, and you don't have to like me for me to like me. I make no space for mind games, and I'm on trans time always. It's been a year since I've moved back home to Peru, and even with the chaos, I'm grateful. I call my grandma at least once a week just to hear her laugh through her gold teeth. She's the only one left. I haven't hugged her in a year, but before that, it had been many years, so I know we'll make it. Pineapple for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I just want to sit in the sun, dig my bare fingers in wet sand, breathe deeply. I have just a few more poems, so thank you so much. This one's called I Think Maybe I Was Born on the Bus. I think maybe I was born on the bus. It's almost like the smell of gasoline, sweat, and candy is imprinted on my skin. The chicha, salsa, and cumbia blasting from the bus speakers is in a loop in my head. And all of it became my intense motion sickness and my everyday. Everything happened on the bus. Back then, the bus routes depended on the driver's mood and the schedule on whether or not they had a contender to race. That day, the bus, a repainted school bus from the United States, was going so fast it was rattling, trying to keep up with its rival. We were on our way to visit my brother at the cemetery to wash his grave. The flowers on my lap were shaking violently. My father started to shout for the bus to stop, slamming his fist on the windows until they shattered. I think maybe I wrote my first poem on the bus, and maybe my first words were esquina baja, letting the driver know I had a destination, a plan to get off this bus, and maybe I held money for the first time on the bus. It's almost like the coins in my sweaty palms seep their metal essence into my body. I could never ride the bus without a bottle of rubbing alcohol to sniff to calm my nausea. It was on the bus in Miami when I was 14 that an old white man grabbed my leg and told me how beautiful he thought I was. I think maybe I made my first friend on the bus, had my first kiss, walked my first steps, and all of it became my intense motion sickness and my everything. I wasn't gonna read this poem, but then I was like, maybe I should read it. If I can find it. Okay. Actually, when the quarantine first happened, I kind of had moved back to Peru like on very impulsively, and I hadn't made really a plan of what I was going to do, and so I suddenly had no job, and it was like quarantine, and I started to write poems for people as like to make some money. And so I would have people send me like a word or 2 words or whatever, and I would respond to that in a poem. So this is one of those poems. Someone wrote me, someone wanted me to write a poem about Florida to New York. So this is called Florida to New York, which is, I migrated to Florida. I grew up there in Miami, and well, no, I've been here for a while, but yeah, so Florida to New York. Okay. Wrinkly feet at the shore, wet sand in toenails, driving through strip malls, un tráfico del carajo, step one toe out into the sun, one into the frigid AC train that took me home, rough ass walk in the winter. Once coming home from the airport, mac and cheese all over the sidewalk, babe, like, welcome back, bitch, splattered in oily, delicious, gritty butteriness, and further down some fries and ketchup too. From Confederate flags dangling from trucks to passive whites at the nonprofit, plus un cortadito or a latte to wake up, to mommy yelling at the TV or putting a coat over your PJs like only my bodega man sees me like this. Un verano in New York, nothing like a Florida eternity. Sweaty queers, fireworks going off on the rooftop singing Aguanile. The same way the light hits your gorgeous friend in the swamp at sunset, lost in the cicada song, squeaking as the rats run across that Bushwick street, running to your babe's house, with some tacos from Regalo de Juquila after a night, dancing, drinking tequilas and ginger ales, talking about the next time they'll dip into the Atlantic. Okay, and this is my last one. Thank you again. I forgot to mention this, but I also have this little print for sale. It's one of the poems I read earlier today, Chiron in the Fourth House. It's in Spanish. If anybody wants, they're in the back. Okay, Unconditional Love. I choose myself today and for the rest of time. I close my eyes and open them in 2001. Immigrant child in green dress, sitting on hand-me-down kitchen table in one-bedroom apartment shared with their family. Aire sudoroso mayamense, thunderstorms that reverberate the earth. Doing their homework because it feels like the only thing they can control. But English is killing them, poquito poquito. They're trying to unlearn an accent they didn't even know they had. They wrap a hot dog in half a paper towel and microwave it for 30 seconds. They watch Dragon Tales and pour some water into a cup of noodle. Later, mommy calls to talk their 12-year-old sister through making dinner. They make the rice while their sister seasons and set the table. Later, with the lights off, they daydream at night of what they'll look like in 2020. Who will they be? Will they be loved? Will they be free? I close my eyes and open them. I whisper in their ear, choose yourself, baby. today and for the rest of time. And they will.